Hi everyone, welcome back to Liz's Scrappin' Studio. I am Liz and I am back with another paper pumpkin layout. So I am working on the May paper pumpkin still. I got a little bit behind and didn't quite get to all the filming of layouts, so I'm back with this one. And I'm actually kind of excited about this particular one. So hopefully it turns out the way I'm envisioning in my mind. So again, the paper pumpkin for May is the best there is card kit, obviously, because it's paper pumpkin. And I am going to turn this into a 2-page layout. Now I've already made the cards and I actually gave one of them away for Father's Day. And so I'm repurposing the rest of the kit to make what I think I will get at least 2 layouts out of this is my hope. I might be able to get 3 because I'm also using the envelopes. So that gives me a little bit of ability to stretch this a little bit. All right, so the pieces that I'm going to use for this is an envelope that I cut down. I made something else with an envelope and I can't remember what it is now, but I made something else and this is the envelope. So I'm going to use that piece. I'm going to use the back of, or one of the pieces of the card bases that I've cut in half. And I am going to use a full card base of the brown. I'm going to use the back of a card base in the brown, and I'm going to use this this piece of patterned paper here that was part of the kit, and I'm going to use that over here on the right hand side. And then I will probably pull in this case, I will probably pull in one of the extra tags that came as part of the extras on the kit, and I might actually pull in the last circle as well, but we'll see, because I've got the trees on this side, but I may do some stamping instead. So just to hold on there. We'll start playing with it and see how it works. All right, so the first thing I need to do is I need to do some cutting. And I need to cut these pieces down. I'm going to leave this one at the full size. So this is going to be that 5.5 by 8, just a little over 8 1/4, almost 8.5 here. So this is going to be my base piece that I'm going to lay here. This piece is a just at 3 1/4 by 4.5. So 3 1/4 by 4.5. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this. I'm going to cut this piece down and have it match this size, whatever dimension is left here. So it's the height is going to be the same, which I already know is a 3.5 height. And I'm going to cut this down to 3.5, and then I'll cut it down to line up directly with this left side. And then on the right hand side, we're going to take what's left over on this and we're going to put it over here on the right hand side. And I've got to play around with these other 2 pieces and see how I want them to lay out. We will definitely be using a 4x6 photo, and we'll either be using some 4x4s or some 3x3s. And I'm gonna, once I get the papers down and am happy with that, then we'll start pulling in our photo mats. All right, so with that, I am going to do some cutting, and I'm going to speed this up so that you don't have to sit in and watch me do the non-fun stuff of the cutting, and we'll be back to start laying things out and adding some possible dimension to this particular layout. All right. So that took a little bit of finagling to get kind of to the layout I wanted. So you can see that I had to do. I was hoping that I could use this card base back, but it wasn't long enough for what I was trying to do. So I did end up cutting another one of these card bases, the full card base, so I could get the longer strip. You'll also notice that I cut up the envelope, and I'm using that as the photo placeholders for these 3x3s just by trimming off the edges. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this piece down so that it's flush with this card base. So going to come all the way up against the mat and then just end flush here. But the other thing I want to do is I want to look at the options to get some decoration on this page. So since I don't have a ton of embellishments in this kit, and the whole idea behind this is to try to use what's in the kit and not bring in too many other extra pieces. Obviously, I've had to bring in a base page to do a scrapbook layout, but essentially I'm trying to work within the confines of the actual kit. And so with that means that I've got some of these extra pieces that I can play with. I need a title up here. The nice thing is that I think I'm going to be able to get a title. And I just have to decide. I think I probably want this bigger piece here. I think that will work really nice in that space. I could use the piece that's the I don't know what to call it, the wide arrow. But I like this piece, and I'm probably going to go ahead and use the "You're the Best There Is." So I think that particular stamp is very universal. It obviously works well on the cards, but I do think that actually works pretty well on this as a title. "You're the Best There Is." I don't even think I need to like mask it off so that not all of that's there. You certainly could. You could mask that off, and you could say "best." And then I'm not sure what else is here. "With love and admiration to the most amazing person." Yeah, I don't think that one will really work. So but I do think that the "You're the Best There Is" will work, and it will definitely work in that particular square. Now that we have these trees, and there is this stamp that's kind of hard to see, but it is, I think it's supposed to be like foliage. I'm trying to say that word. But it's a tiny little stamp. And if we just grab a block here and some scratch paper, we can play around with this a little bit and see if we can add, again, trying to use what's in the kit. So the Misty Moonlight ink, I'm going to go ahead and I haven't used this stamp, so I'm going to go ahead and season it up a bit. And then we're just going to add some ink here. And I'm going to just tap that down. And I think what we can do is we can create, I think possibly what we can do is we can create some clusters. Again, we're trying to do this as a triangle, and I can definitely add some trees here. So we might add some trees down here at the bottom so that they're not floating. Maybe we'll add some trees just kind of coming across here. I might see about that. But I think with this particular stamp, I think it'll be good to like create a little bit of clustering here, and then we'll move over to the right hand side and see about clustering. So again, I'm going to just ink this up, move it out of the way, and I know that I want to have this kind of off to the left hand side here because I'm going to put journaling down this left hand side. So we're just going to slide this over just a little bit more. We're going to just sort of do a dry lay, and then I'm going to just sort of lift stuff up, and I'm going to do I want this first generation or second generation? Let's see which way I like it better. I think I might do second generation, so it's not quite so bright. So I'm just lifting this up, and I'm going to just roughly kind of just put a few of these down and twisting my stamp a little bit each time, just to create some visual interest and keep things moving around. And kind of lay that back down and see, do I have some nice color peeking out there? Lift it up again. Might add like another one right there, overlapping. Come up here, maybe like that. Yeah, liking that. I think that looks good. And just come out here, like that. Almost kind of looks like a tree poking out. I'm really liking that. Okay, so we're just going to come a little bit more this way. Again, maybe come right here. I want to do enough, but I don't want to do too much that it looks wrong. So I think I'm going to stop on that one. And I think we're going to do the same thing down in this lower corner. And I can't tell if I'm on camera. So I'm actually going to shift, because I think I moved off camera while I was doing my cutting. So I'm going to shift this a little bit so that you can hopefully see what I'm doing down here. But sort of the same idea. I'm going to just lift up this corner and double check that I did second generation. And we're just going to put a couple of these leaves down, or these boughs down. Like I said, all I'm doing is just kind of twisting the stamp so that it's going different directions each time I put it down. And then I can take a look and see how I like that, and if I need some more. And I do think I need a little bit more here. Just going to lay that down again. I think we need one. I think we need one like that. This is a really pretty color. I like this color. I'm going to do one like that. Okay, I think that's enough on that corner there. Okay, so now that we've got that done on those two corners, and we may come back in and do a little bit more, but I want to stop before I get too far into it. Okay, so then if we come over here, so we've got 1, 2, we need a third one over here, and I don't necessarily want to go too close to these trees, so I'm thinking down here in this lower corner is where I want to put this one. And this one I might make a little bit bigger, because this side is a little less, the pieces are a little bit smaller here. So I'm going to just shift this up, and again, tap in, and go ahead and sort of just create this triangle underneath, or these boughs kind of moving just by twisting the stamp. And then we can add some crossing over. I really liked that look. I might go this other direction here, like that. Again, trying to get maybe this one a little bit bigger, so coming out a little bit more. Again, twisting my stamp just so I get some different shapes as I'm going through doing this. You don't want the shapes to all look exactly the same and uniform, because it is supposed to be a tree or tree-like. I think we'll go this way this time. And I feel like that goes there. And then if we just slide this back down, we can see how that looks. I think that looks pretty good. I think we got enough there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop with that particular stamp, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp my title here. So we'll grab that and put that one on a block. And again, I do feel like, you know, if you're scrapbooking family or friends or any sort of activity, this this particular phrase I think works fine, right? I don't think, you know, it's that far off. You're the best there is, you know, definitely I can think of that as a great title for a bunch of pictures. So we'll stamp this onto that tag. And I'm going to just stamp off and just see if I'm going to get a good, yep, okay. I wasn't sure if I was inking it enough. It looked a little blotchy there, so. Okay. So we're going to do the best we can to get this centered and straight. Stamp that down. And we can add that there to the top. I like that. All right. So I think at this point, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start adhering down these pieces. I do have to cut this piece, these pieces down a little bit, but I think I'm going to go ahead and start adhering pieces down so that we can see where we're at and do we need to add anything else from a stamping perspective. So this is 3.5. So I just need to cut these two pieces down to 3.5. So I'm going to start adhering down. I'll speed this up and come back in just a minute and we'll look at finishing this layout out. All right. Well, you may have seen as I sped up, I had a bit of a problem that I kind of needed to solve. I'm still not sure I've completely solved it, but it's better than it was. So, and this piece still isn't right. So I cut these blue pieces too short. I didn't account for that 1/4 inch of the strip that I put right there, and so I cut these to the size of the um, of the 3x4 size here, and so that caused me to have a bit of a problem with having to play around with this piece and see if there was a way I could make it work. So I think it's okay. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's okay, and probably most people aren't going to notice that that wasn't the way that I intended it to be. This does look crooked, though, I will say, but I've picked up, it actually is crooked. I can tell from that. So I might go back right now and go pull everything up and start from scratch and straighten everything out, because I was playing around with it so much that I think everything just kind of got wonky on it. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to finish with this layout. All right, so I fixed this right-hand side layout. Now everything is essentially straight. It's not probably 100%, but it's certainly a lot better than it was. I decided not to put the brown strip down the side that I had. I shifted the pictures over a little bit instead, so that it kind of covered up that seam that I wasn't happy with, because I didn't want to cut another strip of this because I do want to use it on another layout. And so just by shifting the photos just a smidge over to the right, I think it takes care of that problem. Okay, so the other thing is, this is one of the embellishment pieces that comes with the kit. So this is just that, what is that called? Misty Moonlight Blue. And I really like the idea of having this behind this title, but it's not quite long enough. I feel like it needs to be a little bit longer. So to rectify that, I'm going to just go ahead and cut this in the middle. And what we're going to do is use some of these dimensionals on each end of this strip of the piece I just cut. So we're just going to grab a couple of those and put that on, so that this will pop up the title. I did pop up all of the photos on the left-hand side, but I did not pop up the photos on the right-hand side. So I made a conscious choice not to pop those up. Okay, so we're going to come over here to this left-hand side, and we're going to put I don't know how it happens. I always lose my adhesive on my table. Does that happen to anybody else? Okay, so I'm going to just put some adhesive on the edges of this, and then I'm going to just decide how much space how much of this banner do I want to have showing on each side. And then I'm going to try and center that. Yep, I think that looks pretty good. And then we'll put this down. All right, so then the next thing is just some embellishments. Now, I will say that the embellishments in this particular kit are few, right? We have these pieces here, and so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, again, I really don't like this color. I do have to say, this is probably my least favorite color in the kit. I can't remember what color that is, but I just don't feel like it goes very well personally, I don't think it goes well with these other browns. I feel like there could have been a better color choice here, but just to kind of see how this might work. Yeah, I'm tempted to use the opposite side. I'm tempted just to use the white, but maybe not on this layout. It might be too much white for this layout. And again, I don't think, if I was using the other, if I was using this piece here that had the aqua color in it, then I think this one works. But in this case, I think we're going to pull out the blue again, the Misty Moonlight Blue. And I think we are going to cut this in half as well, so that we can tuck that behind. Yep, I think that works. Oops. Don't want that adhesive on there. So we're going to tuck this behind this title. Like so. And then, oops. How did I press that down? Like so. And I may take just a dollop of glue here to stick it down to the page. Just so that it doesn't pop up, like so. Okay, and then we're going to take the other half. Uh-oh. Did I lose my other half? All right, I will, oh, there it is. There's my other half. Okay, so now we're going to grab this guy and we're going to stick it over here, this side, up and underneath, overlapping that picture a little bit, just like so. Okay, so we've got now some embellishments on this side. Again, I think I'm going to just put a little dab of glue there to hold that down onto the paper. I don't want to put any glue on the photo because I'm going to slide a photo under that, so I don't want to put any glue there. Okay, so that is on that side, and I think we've got, I'm just seeing if I have one more piece that I can put over on this other side. Yes, I do. So I'm going to go ahead and take the other one so that I have the same embellishment on both sides. Okay, we'll cut this in half again because I'm going to need it. I need to put it in a couple of different places. And let's see, where do we want to do this one? I don't know if we need to do it underneath there, if we want to do it on under that photo like that. I'm thinking under the photo like that. Yep, I think it's going to be like that because I think that looks better than trying to separate it out. So we'll do that. We'll get these guys layered up. And get that stuck underneath this photo, like so. And again, we'll just put a dollop of glue. On a couple of these leaves, just so that it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, all right, so I am feeling like it is still a little bit, needs a little bit more, and I'm not sure if we can get that with what's left in the kit. So the question is, do we add some of these trees? One of the simple things we can do, and I think we'll do that first, is, and again, this is just using, unfortunately, something outside of the kit, but it is a technique that I like to use a lot, which is, if I could find where I put it, I think I'm going to draw a black line around the outside of this layout. So this is something that I do on some of my layouts, especially if I have a lot of white, like I do here, and I don't have necessarily a lot of other embellishments that I can use. So I'm going to just draw, and you could do it in black, or you can do it in a blue. I think black is fine. So I'm going to just take my pen and I'm going to run it down. And the easiest way to do these kind of doodling lines is when you're doodling, look ahead of where your pen line is. It might not be straight. Some people can get them super straight. I'm not one of those people, but I do find that if I am doodling like this and I look ahead of where my pen is going, I am a little bit more straight than if I look at where the pen is, if that makes sense. So again, just by putting this little extra piece, I'm hoping it will give us a little bit more dimension here without using any other items than that weren't in the kit. This is the only other item that would be in the kit. I'm going to shift this off to the side so I don't ruin it. Again, I could do some more stamping on this, but I'm afraid if I do, it's going to look a little bit too much. I like the little bit of blue that we have that looks like the trees sticking out from the corners. And since I'm trying to stick with what's in the kit, I'm just afraid if I add more trees, I might not get the look that I'm going for. So this is going to be a pretty simple layout, nothing too fancy. But I think I've accomplished one of my goals, which was to use up the kit and to keep within the kit confines. And I do think that that black line really does help. It's amazing how just a simple doodle line like that can really, really help with this. And let's see. I'm just trying to make one last decision. Do I want to add a few more of the boughs here? I feel like I should, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid to mess it up at this point. So I think we will leave it. Oh, there was one other idea that I had. Let's see. We've got some of these little pieces left over from the trimmings that I did. Maybe this is going to be the little oomph that it needs. So I'm going to try and find. I save all these little pieces when I'm doing the trimming, so that I had some of the blue pieces were also left. There they are. Because you can make these into flags and tags. So I can actually up in this corner, I can add some more interest up in this upper right hand corner. So if I take this, I'm going to trim this up just a smidge. And if I literally just do a couple of different flags at different heights, and I'm just dovetailing these pieces. So I'm gonna take one of these longer ones, these longer brown ones, dovetail that one. So that's a nice narrow one. And then we sort of had a short squatty one here. Let's do this guy. Again, just dovetailing it by cutting up the middle and then cutting into that first cut. And I've got 3 flags, which I can add up here. slide this over so that make sure everybody can see, because I don't think I'm in frame well today. And if I do, that one's a little bit narrow, but if we do something like that, does that work? Yep, I think that works. Okay, so we're going to add some adhesive to these guys. And we're just going to layer these guys up. This is also a great way to use up your small little pieces that you're cut, that maybe you didn't have another use for, is going to end up in their trash bag. This is a great way to use up those little pieces, especially if you need a little bit more embellishment than maybe you had originally thought. So, okay, so we've got those three over there, and get rid of that garbage. All right. I think that looks a little better. That makes me feel a little bit better about this. I think it's too much if we try to add these anywhere else. They don't really fit. I know that we could probably do something off to the side here if we wanted to, but again, I don't think that's necessary. My thought is that you can do journaling here. There's journaling spots here and here as well on this layout. So you've got a number of spots that you can add some journaling to. And then that way, again, it's going to fill up some more of this white space. But I think that last little ad was the perfect little ad. And we are done with this layout. Just give you a little bit of a close-up so that you can see those details. So I came back on this layout after I'd let it sit overnight. And this is something that does happen to me frequently, that I leave a layout and I'm not always sure if it's done yet. And I do like to sit and work, or just sort of leave a layout be out on my desk and then come back and look at it again. And I knew that there was something missing. I just couldn't figure out what it was. So I did go ahead and grab one of the other die cuts that came in the kit, and it was the color that I said I didn't like. And I did go ahead and add that to both sides of the page where I had put the Misty Moonlight. Yeah, the Misty Moonlight die cut. And I'm actually, even though the color is not my favorite color, I'm happy with how it works now that I have it down. But I still had a problem with this space over here on the right-hand side. Even though we had the flags that came down, and I'm happy with that, I still felt like this was really problematic. It just was too much white space. And I really didn't think that adding a stamped image here would work very well. And I knew down here at the bottom that I was going to be putting, journaling. Journaling was where I was thinking here, or even some journaling over here, as I said before. So I pulled out the tags that were part of this, and we had used a tag over here on the left. You'll also notice that I did do a black outline around the tag because, again, I felt like it was getting lost. And so I just did that same black outline that I had done on the base page. And so I took the other pieces of the tags that were here, and I pulled out this tag, and I went ahead and I inked up, just using the Misty Moonlight. I just inked up the edges here, and I thought, okay, maybe that would work. But it still doesn't have the ratio or the heights that that was going to work for me. So then I pulled out this flag tag, and this is definitely giving me the height that I was looking for to fill in that space. And these were two cuts, end cuts that I had left. And this one happens to be the exact size of that flag. And so when I put that down and sort of filled in that space between the flags that I had over here on the right and the embellishments here on the left, I really felt like that tied this together, gave me a more completed layout look. And so, but I do think that there is still an issue that this particular is sitting white on white. And so I am going to come in with my ink spot, and I am just going to ink up the sides of this piece, and that way it just allows it to stand up. It gives it some dimension and allows it to stand off of the white. Sometimes problematic for me. I'm going to try and get it as straight as possible. Okay, so there we got that. And I'm not, I do think I am going to pop it up. So I am going to grab some of the dimensionals. If I have some handy, I haven't really cleaned up my desk from the other one. So we will put some dimensionals on this and pop this up to give it, again, a little bit more presence on the page. So this, I think, is sort of the last step. Now, even though we've got dimensionals, you should be able to write on this. I'm going to put some extra dimensionals there as well, just so that if I go to write on it, I actually have I have a stable surface. So I'm going to just add a few more than I would normally add, and then I should be able to write on that without a problem. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this down, and then we'll take a look at this layout one last time to see how it works. Now, like I said, I am trying to do this kind of as in between these two pieces here. So I'm just coming just a little bit to the left of those flags. I'm having this point down, and I'm just making sure that I like all the pieces, and then I can push that down. All right, so the end result here is added the black lines around the title here, added in this leaf or I'm not sure what to even call that. Didn't really change anything else on this left-hand side other than adding those two pieces. And then on the right-hand side, again, adding in that half of that. So I essentially just cut that piece in half, just like I had cut the other sprigs in half as well. And then we inked up this title or this banner and put an extra piece of that cardstock again to tie it together. And that was, again, the end result of this. And I think now that I let it sit for that 24-hour period, and I was able to think about it and come back and look at it, I am much happier with this this final layout. All right, so hopefully you got some good tips out of this. I would love to have a like if this was a layout that you enjoyed me putting together, and I would love to have you as a subscriber if you haven't subscribed. And if you turn on the notifications, you'll get a notification the next time I upload another video to my YouTube channel. Have a great day, and I will see you on the next video.